Well, I want to run that back.
Me of the 80s. What's up?
What's up?
The disturbances of fatherhood.
My kid tried to walk into my room full of toys.
The red light above the staircase that says, you know, recording, just like Uncle Jesse had on Full House. I guess.
Oh God!
Stupid ass.
This is one of his most insane videos. And one thing that's interesting that happens in this is partway through, about a minute in, his kids try to come down into the basement when the red light on the outside of the door is on, the recording light that he has. I'm not joking. He has a recording light for when he's recording these stupid videos, and his kids can't come in, and his kids ignored the rule, and he had to do a cut.
Oh, nice.
And we're gonna talk.
And I looked at the transcript for this one because I didn't want to watch the whole thing. And he says some really insane shit. Like he says driveways remind him of childhood, and Coca-Cola reminds him of childhood.
I remember
what
driveways.
the fuck are you talking about? Also, did you guys know that this guy is a clinical therapist and that's his job? And I'm not joking.
God damn it.
That's not a joke.
He loves to talk about people's childhoods. It makes sense. He does remember when
I talked about.
Not even joking. It's not a joke.
It was to.
And this is what he does when he's home from work: is he goes into his baby room and plays with his toys in his framed Kmart bags. That's a shopping bag in a frame.
he does that at work. He goes to work. He's like, "Remember when you were a kid and how great everything was?"
And nobody could. We could never put it into words, right? It was always just this unexplainable feeling. And many of you have written and said, "No, I know exactly."
You're not supposed to explain it. Who said you were supposed to explain it?
You know, I can't explain the feeling.
No one asked you to fucking explain the feeling of when you were a kid. You're a grown man now, and it's time to be a grown man and do grown man things.
Look at you're not allowed to have that haircut if you have a Cabbage Patch Kid. That's not your kids.
You know, even before the channel, there would be
on the couch next to you
that would just randomly remind me of childhood or of the 80s.
Isn't this your childhood? Aren't you still in it? What did you have then that isn't here in the room with you?
They were hard to.
I'm gonna cut his audio out and dub like Russian over it, and he'll look like just some random war criminal. Why has he got?
This is the new head of the Wagner Group.
Мирные жители были рады нас видеть.
He's from the KB Toys unit.
That's good, Aqua. He specializes
KGB
in
Toys.
age regression.
KGB Toys.
Staircase that says, you know, recording, just like Uncle Jesse had on Full House. I guess they just.
You're no Uncle Jesse, man. Uncle Jesse got mad pussy. He was if you were 5, Uncle Jesse was the coolest guy in the world. No one thinks you're cool.
Always be these.
I want to run that back.
Me of the 80s. What's up?
What's up?
The disturbances of fatherhood.
My kid tried to walk into my room full of toys.
The red light above the staircase that says, you know, recording, just like Uncle Jesse had on Full House. I guess.
Oh God!
Stupid ass.
Uncle Jesse was recording songs. He wasn't recording a video of him saying, "Remember my Ninja Turtles? Remember when they made you feel so good when you were 5? Oh yeah."
What the fuck happened to Pizza Friday?
Oh, Chuck E. Cheese reminds me of the 80s. Oh, you know, watching G.I. Joe reminds me of the 80s. Yes, of course.
It's just insane because that's childhoods. He's got childhoods running around upstairs. You want to remember childhood, you've got one. You've got 2. And they're trying to talk to you. And you're thinking about your childhood from 1980.
Yeah, well, his stuff was better back then.
Yeah, this was when it was good. Stuff like the KB Toys shopping bag and the Toys R Us shopping bag. See how he has a receipt in the frame?
Yeah, I wanted that. Is the most disturbing part.
I don't know, like he must have just had he must have been the happiest anyone ever was in human history when they took him to Toys R Us. Like I can't, like I just
brings me back to childhood.
The sound of a lawn. What the?
They didn't get rid of him.
That's this motherfucker is stealing content online. That was watermarked, that photo.
Yeah.
And you probably.
You can tell his
Why
hairline.
don't you go mow the damn lawn?
His hairline is doing about 80% of the work maintaining that mohawk thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like we know you got the big V. It's fine, but it's like you're not really fooling anyone. It's like
so I could
you barely had to shave anything.
I was 8 years old when I first heard a lawnmower. Right? That's not true, but it's probably the first time that it actually registered as something.
You're a stupid fucking 8-year-old, man. I was literally mowing the lawn at 7.
The smell of cut grass.
Knowing this guy as a therapist makes it like much more.
It makes
morbid.
it insane, and he must. There must be some sort of separation. Like if he's worked for more than a day, there's no way he's just telling people like you should play with baby toys. It's fun. That'll solve your problems. Like he must be just going off the book. I think. But still, like if you found out your therapist had a room like this in his house that his kids weren't allowed in, you would absolutely get a different therapist.
What happened to Pizza Friday here?
McDonald's is an instant reminder of childhood. What?
Ah, yes.
I just don't.
Some of his happiest meals were there, Alex.
It's like it's like saying air is nostalgic for you.
Think we see a lot of McDonald's commercials anymore?
I
mean, I don't see any.
It doesn't make sense logically.
Fucking idiot! I don't think we see a lot of McDonald's commercials anymore. I mean, I don't see any commercials.
Oh, fuck, man.
No, it's because he watches fucking VHS tapes
of
Totos.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
driving by a McDonald's.
This shit a lot of old people do, where they just stop watching new TV. Like Illuminator made a video, I think it's in the queue, where he talked about like how come like old styles of music, it seems like they never come back, like 60s rock and disco and the 80s.
Fucking also he's stupid.
It's like,
it comes back a lot.
Listen to the radio for 2 seconds. That's all of it, dude.
This guy sucks.
They don't play with any kids in the neighborhood, and so they don't hop on their bike and go cruising down.
Is he complaining about his kids now?
Yeah.
Play with so and so in the backyard for 6 hours.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you could. You're ignoring them right now.
They certainly don't ride their bikes up to the 7-Eleven.
Hey, do you know what they're not going to care about? A bunch of shit from the 80s they're not allowed to touch.
Yeah, it's not even cool stuff from the 80s. Like there's stuff from the 80s that Zoomers or Gen Alpha might think is cool or retro or like ironic.
Everything in there is for him to point at and say, "Remember this?"
It's garbage. It's literally garbage. It's like a shitty Hulk Hogan wrestling toy where even when it was new, like the painting was all fucked up.
I don't know, man. You sound like a hater.
I am a hater.
He's got the fucking Atari sticker on the corded phone that's probably not even connected to an actual landline. They're just there for show. Fuck you. Don't put
it definitely works. You probably also use that dustbuster like we
Yeah, that's the thing. Like so much culture is already based on appealing to guys like this. That's what Stranger Things is. It's like a show made for this guy, but he doesn't even want to watch it because he's still watching VHS tapes of the Ninja Turtles and Captain Planet.
He bought fucking wood. He bought fake wood floor tile that goes over like linoleum.
Yeah, that's
put on his wall to make his 80s room.
That wouldn't make
wall
the cut.
It probably has normal fucking paint on it.
Yeah, that is a floor. I didn't notice that before you pointed it out.
On his wall.
That is the floor. So he went to the store and he got the wrong thing because he's stupid. That wouldn't cut the mustard for a podcast studio. Like the mom's basement set. Like even Keemstar would be like, "That's the floor. That's not wood.
Serves no purpose."
Look up 70s wood paneling on Google Images, and that's what it looks like. That's not it.
Yeah. By the way, they don't want kids to have fun anymore. You see that they had fucking they had cops show up, like SWAT and riot police show up to stop them from doing the hill bomb.
Death was like this 2 seats because they had television sets don't give me good feelings today because they've completely transformed into something, futuristic looking in comparison.
That's so. Isn't this fucking psychotic? It's the TV. It's the thing that plays the shows you like. You're supposed to like the shows. You're not supposed to look at the TV and just say, "Oh, it's so nostalgic. Oh, it's so nostalgic."
Do you know what I loved about the TVs that were from like the late 70s and 80s that I would trash pick to use in my room in the late 90s? I loved getting up and fucking having to use like pliers to change the channel. That was awesome. Because once the knob breaks, you're fucked. You just have that little rod sticking out.
Yep.
Have you considered that the new ones look too futuristic?
Yeah, they're too big. They look too good. They use too little electricity compared to the old ones, and they don't make me feel warm and comfy.
The worst time for TVs is when they had like the 1,000-pound rear projection screens that you could only see from one angle. Yeah. People thought they were so cool, and I'm like, nice fucking heavy piece of dog shit that I can't see from here.
Yeah, they're too cheap too. I remember when you would have to mortgage your house to get a TV.
Yeah,
God.
If you ever go look up like Best Buy ads from 1990 sometime, it's fucking insane the prices on shit.
Look at what people spent on VCRs.
$3,600.
A VCR when it came out was like $3,000.
Yeah, it's fucking insane to think about.
And those were mono too. They had like mono sound on them.
For forever.
It was luxury.
My kids would call.
Remember we got our first like big TV, and it was still like CRT or whatever, but it was like 36 inches or maybe 42.
It was always Coke.
It was like, man, it was one of the best feelings as a kid.
My dad is like proud of the fact that we are like
garages,
the sixth household that our area provider had to sign up for HD television. When
nice.
HD TV came out, and you'd only get like 1 or 2 channels, and one of them was like this HD net. I think it was called HD net. And it was like this weird like travel channel thing, and it was just like
garages are nostalgic, by the way.
Good women on in bikinis on a boat. Sorry,
that's awesome.
I feel like I remember that.
You're not interrupting anything important.
Yeah, he just said garages are nostalgic. I just don't get that. Don't you have one if you have a house?
I don't.
They're still around. I don't. It's just fucked up. Everything you see is just like, that's nostalgic. That's nostalgic. That's nostalgic. That's nostalgic. Like, what are you gonna look back on in 20 years?